Hello, ladies and gentlemen. There are moments in life when we need something to shift, when we're looking for direction, for clarity, for breakthrough. And sometimes the key to unlocking that next level isn't in doing more, but in stepping back, in making room, in surrendering for a season. Fasting isn't just about going without food. It's about strengthening your spirit. It's about silencing the noise of the world so you can hear the voice of wisdom. Too often we get so busy, so distracted by everything around us that we forget to pause and listen. But when you fast, when you say, I'm going to put aside this comfort for a greater purpose, you're telling your body, your mind, your emotions, you're not in control. Purpose is in control. Destiny is in control. You see, when you fast, you're not losing, you're gaining. You're gaining clarity, you're gaining strength, you're gaining a fresh vision for your life. Some of the greatest breakthroughs don't come in the hustle and the striving. They come in the moments of surrender. Maybe you've been facing challenges that seem impossible. Maybe you've been praying for an answer, for a shift, for a new door to open. Can I tell you, fasting is a key that unlocks doors. It is a way of saying, I trust the process. I believe something greater is coming. And when you fast with faith, with expectation, you position yourself for supernatural favor. And it's not just spiritual, it's physical, it's mental, it's emotional. Fasting resets your system. It teaches you discipline, self-control. It reminds you that you're stronger than your cravings, bigger than your doubts, greater than your circumstances. So if you've been feeling stuck, if you're waiting for a breakthrough, I encourage you, take time to fast. Even if it's small, even if it's just one meal, one day, start somewhere, because when you do, you'll see things start to shift. You'll feel stronger, wiser, more focused. And before you know it, the very thing you've been waiting for, the answer you've been seeking, the doors you've been knocking on will begin to open. So don't be afraid to take that step. Let go of the distractions. Tune into a higher purpose and watch how fasting takes you to a whole new level. Fasting is more than just abstaining from food. It is about realigning our focus, redirecting our energy, and drawing closer to a greater purpose. In today's fast-paced world, it's easy to get caught up in the busyness of life. Work, responsibilities, social pressures, so much so that we often lose sight of what truly matters. But when we fast, we make a conscious decision to pause, to step away from distractions, and to create space for something deeper, something greater. When you fast, you are saying, I am not just living for temporary satisfaction, I am living for something bigger. It is a deliberate act of self-discipline that allows you to focus on your purpose with greater clarity and intention. Whether it is spiritual, emotional, or personal growth, fasting creates the opportunity to shift from external noise to internal wisdom. It brings a sense of alignment, a reconnection to values that may have been drowned out by the day-to-day demands of life. There are moments in life when we feel stuck, when we know we are meant for more, but we can't seem to break through. It might be a career challenge, a personal struggle, or a period of uncertainty about what comes next. These are the times when fasting can be a powerful tool. It is a way of resetting, of stepping back from the chaos and allowing clarity to come. Fasting is not about deprivation. It is about preparation. It prepares your mind and heart for a greater revelation, a deeper understanding of your direction and purpose. Imagine a cluttered room filled with noise, distractions, and unnecessary things that block the doorway. Sometimes, in order to move forward, you have to clear out the space. Fasting does the same thing for your life. It removes the clutter, the unhealthy habits, the distractions, the constant consumption of things that do not serve you, so that you can see the path ahead more clearly. Many times the answers we seek are already within us, but we are too overwhelmed to hear them. We are constantly absorbing information, reacting to situations, and trying to keep up with everything around us. Fasting provides an opportunity to slow down, to listen, to reflect. It helps us detach from the temporary and focus on the eternal. It reminds us that we are not just living for the moment, we are living for a purpose, for something that goes beyond the immediate gratification of food, entertainment, or other comforts. Fasting also strengthens our connection to gratitude. When we remove something as fundamental as food from our daily routine, we become more aware of our blessings. We begin to appreciate the simple things, the meal we often take for granted, the strength to overcome cravings, the discipline to stay committed to our goals. Gratitude shifts our perspective and makes us more aware of the abundance already present in our lives. And when we live in gratitude, we open the door for even greater blessings to flow. In history, some of the greatest leaders, thinkers, and spiritual figures practiced fasting to gain insight and wisdom. They understood that in moments of stillness and sacrifice, clarity emerges. Fasting teaches us to trust in the process, to believe that when we let go of our immediate desires, we make room for something greater. It is an act of faith, an acknowledgement that life is not just about what we consume, but about what we create, what we contribute, and what we become. Discipline is another powerful lesson that fasting instills. It reminds us that we are not controlled by our cravings, our impulses, or our habits. When we fast, we take control of our bodies, our thoughts, and our emotions. We shift from being reactive to being intentional. This discipline does not just stay in the area of fasting, it carries over into every part of our lives. It makes us stronger in our commitments, more focused in our goals, and more resilient in the face of challenges. There's something deeply empowering about knowing that you can say no to something in order to say yes to something greater. When you fast, you are choosing to put your focus on a higher purpose. You are choosing to step away from distractions and realign with the things that truly matter. And when you do that, you will begin to see things shift in your life. Ideas become clearer. Decisions become easier. Strength replaces weakness. Purpose replaces confusion. Fasting is not just about giving up food. It is about gaining perspective. It is about taking a step back so you can move forward with greater clarity, greater strength, and greater purpose. And when you fast with the right mindset, with faith and expectation, you position yourself for something extraordinary. You align yourself with a path that leads to growth, wisdom, and transformation. And in that alignment, you will discover that fasting is not just an act of sacrifice, it is an act of power. There are moments in life when we find ourselves facing walls we cannot seem to break through. We pray, we work hard, we try everything we know, yet nothing seems to change. It feels like we're standing in front of a locked door, knocking and waiting, but it just won't open. In times like these, fasting becomes a powerful tool to bring about the breakthrough we need. Fasting is not just about what we give up, it's about what we gain. It is a way of shifting our focus from what we see in the natural world to what is possible in the unseen. So often we are consumed by our circumstances, by what is in front of us, by the limitations of our resources, our strength, or our abilities. But fasting reminds us that there is more beyond what we can see. It helps us step into a place of faith where breakthroughs happen not by our own striving, but by aligning ourselves with a greater power at work in our lives. There are countless stories throughout history of people who fasted in times of crisis, seeking answers, looking for direction, and needing a miracle. And time again, those moments of sacrifice led to incredible breakthroughs. Why? Because fasting is an act of surrender. It is saying, I trust that there is something greater ahead. I am willing to let go of my comfort, my routine, even my physical cravings, to make room for something bigger. Sometimes the very thing standing in the way of our breakthrough is not an external obstacle, but an internal one. It might be fear, doubt, impatience, or even our own limited thinking. Fasting has a way of clearing out those blockages. It strips away distractions and helps us see things from a fresh perspective. When we fast, we quiet the noise of the world and tune in to a deeper wisdom, one that brings solutions, ideas, and clarity that we may not have noticed before. Think about a seed that is planted in the ground. It does not immediately sprout into a full-grown tree. There is a process that takes place underground, a process that we cannot see. It takes time, it requires patience, and it needs the right conditions. Fasting is like preparing the soil for that breakthrough. It is removing the weeds of doubt, making room for growth, and trusting that in the right time, what is hidden beneath the surface will begin to rise. Many people think of fasting as simply going without food, but it is so much more than that. It is about setting aside distractions, whether that's food, social media, entertainment, or anything that consumes our time and attention, to focus on what truly matters. When we remove those distractions, we create space for revelation, for transformation, for new doors to open. Breakthroughs often require a shift in perspective. Sometimes we are so focused on what we think the answer should look like that we miss what is right in front of us. Fasting allows us to step back, to realign, to open our hearts and minds to possibilities we may not have considered before. It gives us the patience to wait when the timing isn't right and the clarity to act when the opportunity presents itself. There is something about fasting that strengthens our resolve. It reminds us that we are not defined by our cravings, our habits, or our circumstance. It builds resilience, self-control, and determination, qualities that are essential for any breakthrough. When you can master the discipline of fasting, you build the strength to overcome other challenges in life. Fasting also activates faith. It is a declaration that we believe something greater is coming. It is an act of expectation, a way of saying, I am preparing for my breakthrough. And when you fast with that mindset, you begin to see things shift. Obstacles that once seemed impossible suddenly don't look so big. Answers that once seemed out of reach start to come into focus. The weight you were carrying begins to lift, and the doors that seemed locked begin to open. Breakthroughs do not always come instantly, but they come to those who are willing to prepare for them. Fasting is that preparation. It is the process of setting the foundation for something new, something better, something beyond what we can imagine. And when the breakthrough finally comes, you will look back and realize that the sacrifice was never about losing something. It was about making room for something greater. Discipline is one of the most powerful qualities a person can develop. It is the ability to stay committed, to push through challenges, and to resist temptations that take us away from our goals. Fasting is a powerful way to strengthen that discipline. It teaches us to master our cravings, to control our impulses, and to develop a mindset of self-control that carries over into every aspect of life. We live in a world where instant gratification is everywhere. We can satisfy almost any craving within minutes, whether it's food, entertainment, or distractions. But the most successful, fulfilled people understand that true success does not come from constantly giving in to impulses. It comes from learning to wait, to sacrifice, and to focus on long-term rewards rather than short-term satisfaction. That is exactly what fasting teaches us. When we fast, we make a conscious decision to say no to something we want in the moment so that we can achieve something greater in the future. This simple act of self-denial builds incredible strength within us. It reminds us that we are in control of our bodies, our minds, and our desires, not the other way around. Instead of letting our cravings dictate our choices, we take control and choose a higher purpose. Think about the areas in life where discipline is required, whether it's in career, relationships, finances, or personal growth. No great achievement happens without discipline. Athletes train for years resisting unhealthy foods and staying committed to their routines so they can perform at their best. Entrepreneurs work hard, make sacrifices, and stay disciplined with their time and energy to build something meaningful. Relationships thrive when people choose patience, commitment, and selflessness instead of giving in to momentary frustrations. Fasting is a way to train ourselves in that same discipline. When you fast, you become aware of how much control your desires have over you. Have you ever noticed that when you decide to avoid something, it suddenly feels harder to resist? That's because our minds are wired to crave comfort and pleasure. But every time you say no to those cravings, you are strengthening your willpower. You are proving to yourself that you are stronger than your urges. And the more you practice this, the easier it becomes to resist temptations in other areas of life. Fasting also shifts our mindset from scarcity to abundance. At first, giving up food or other comforts may feel like a loss, but as time goes on, you begin to realize that you are gaining so much more: clarity, focus, strength, and a deeper connection to your purpose. You start to see that true fulfillment doesn't come from constantly indulging, but from having control over your actions and being intentional with your choices. One of the biggest challenges people face in life is inconsistency. They start with good intentions, but struggle to follow through when things get difficult. Fasting is a way to break that pattern. It teaches you how to push through discomfort, how to stay committed even when it's hard, and how to build habits that last. Once you develop the ability to stay disciplined in fasting, you will find it easier to stay disciplined in other areas. Whether it's maintaining a healthy lifestyle, managing your finances, or sticking to your personal and professional commitments. There is also a mental clarity that comes with fasting. When we remove distractions, we are able to think more clearly, make better decisions, and focus on what truly matters. Have you ever felt overwhelmed by too many choices, too many thoughts, too much noise? Fasting helps quiet that noise. It brings a sense of peace and order to your mind, making it easier to focus on your goals and stay committed to them. Fasting is not just about denying yourself something. It is about developing the strength to say yes to what truly matters. It is about training your mind and body to work together rather than letting your impulses control you. And the discipline you develop through fasting will benefit every area of your life. When you learn to master yourself, you unlock new levels of potential. You become stronger, more focused, and more resilient. The things that once seemed difficult become easier. The challenges that once held you back no longer have power over you. You begin to live with a greater sense of purpose and control, knowing that you have the strength to overcome anything. Fasting is a reminder that you are capable of more than you think. It is a challenge, but it is also an opportunity to prove to yourself that you are not ruled by your cravings, that you have the power to make intentional choices, and that you can build a life of discipline, strength, and purpose. And when you develop that kind of discipline, there's nothing you cannot achieve. Fasting is one of the most effective ways to cleanse not just the body, but also the mind and soul. In today's world, we are constantly consuming, whether it's food, information, entertainment, or even negative thoughts. We rarely take the time to pause and let our bodies and minds reset. But when we fast, we give ourselves the opportunity to step back, remove distractions, and allow true renewal to take place. Our bodies are designed to heal and regenerate, but they often don't get the chance because they are always working to process what we put into them. The same goes for our minds. We are constantly taking in new information, social media, news, conversations, responsibilities, and rarely give ourselves the space to clear out unnecessary thoughts and emotions. Fasting is a way to break free from this cycle. It allows us to detox physically and mentally, creating a fresh foundation for growth and clarity. On a physical level, fasting gives the body a break from digestion, allowing it to focus on repairing and healing. Studies have shown that fasting can reduce inflammation, improve metabolism, and even boost brain function. When we fast, our bodies enter a state where they start removing damaged cells and generating new, healthier ones. This natural cleansing process is like hitting a reset button, improving energy levels and overall well-being. But the benefits of fasting go far beyond just physical health. There's a mental and emotional purification that happens when we step away from the constant cycle of consumption. So often our thoughts are cluttered with worry, stress, and negativity. We dwell on past mistakes, overanalyze situations, and let fear take control. Fasting helps clear out these mental toxins, replacing them with a sense of peace and clarity. When we remove distractions, we become more aware of the thoughts that are truly driving our lives. Many times, we don't even realize how much negativity we carry because we are too busy to notice. But when we fast, we slow down, and in that stillness, we gain the ability to recognize and release toxic patterns. We start to replace doubt with confidence, anxiety with peace, and fear with faith. Fasting also strengthens our emotional resilience. When we go without something we are used to having, whether it's food, social media, or any other comfort, we become more aware of how much we depend on external things for happiness and stability. We realize that true strength does not come from what we consume, but from what we cultivate within ourselves. We learn that we can face challenges, overcome cravings, and rise above temporary discomfort. Many people find that during fasting, their emotions become clearer. Feelings that may have been buried under daily distractions come to the surface, allowing for true healing. Fasting creates space for reflection, giving us the chance to process emotions, let go of past hurts, and move forward with a renewed sense of purpose. It teaches us to release what no longer serves us and embrace what truly matters. Another powerful effect of fasting is the sharpening of our mental focus. When we are constantly consuming, our minds become overloaded with information. This can lead to brain fog, lack of motivation, and difficulty making decisions. But when we fast, we eliminate the excess and allow our minds to function at a higher level. Many people report experiencing heightened concentration, improved creativity, and deeper insight when they fast. There is a reason why great thinkers, leaders, and spiritual figures throughout history have practiced fasting. They understood that true wisdom comes not from filling ourselves with more, but from clearing away what is unnecessary. In the stillness of fasting, we gain perspective. We see solutions where we once saw problems. We find peace where we once felt chaos. Fasting is a reminder that we do not need to be controlled by our cravings, our habits, or the constant noise of the world. It is a way of reclaiming our inner strength, restoring balance, and reconnecting with our true selves. When we fast, we create space for clarity, wisdom, and renewal. We purify not just our bodies, but our thoughts and emotions, making way for something greater. In the end, fasting is not about deprivation. It is about transformation. It is about removing what holds us back so we can step into a higher level of strength, focus, and peace. It is about cleansing not just what we put into our bodies, but also what we allow into our minds and hearts. And when we embrace this process, we discover a new sense of freedom, a life that is not controlled by distractions, but one that is guided by clarity, intention, and purpose. Fasting is not just about what we give up, it's about what we gain. It has the power to transform our lives, bringing renewal, strength, and clarity. But beyond the personal benefits, fasting also opens the door for something even greater, an outpouring of blessings. When we make the choice to step away from distractions, to discipline ourselves, and to align with a greater purpose, we position ourselves to receive abundance in ways we never imagined. So often in life, we strive and push, trying to make things happen on our own. We work hard, we plan, we stress over outcomes, and yet sometimes it feels like we are running in circles. But fasting teaches us a different way, a way of surrender, a way of trust. It is an act of faith, a declaration that we believe something greater is in store. And when we take that step, we activate a principle that has been true for generations. Sacrifice leads to blessing. There is a special kind of breakthrough that happens when we are willing to give up something meaningful in pursuit of something greater. It's a law woven into the fabric of life. The more we let go, the more we make room to receive. Fasting is an act of expectation. It's saying, I may not see the answer right now, but I trust that it's coming. I may not have everything figured out, but I believe that clarity will come. When we fast, we shift our focus from what we lack to the blessings that are already on their way, we begin to see things differently. We start noticing opportunities we might have overlooked. We experience breakthroughs in areas where we once felt stuck. Relationships are restored, creativity is reignited, and doors that were once closed begin to open. Fasting aligns us with the flow of abundance. It teaches us that blessings are not just about material things, but about a deeper sense of peace, wisdom, and purpose. It is a reminder that we do not have to strive endlessly to receive what is meant for us. Sometimes all we have to do is step back, realign, and make space for what is coming. One of the greatest blessings that fasting brings is a shift in perspective. In the midst of our daily routines, it's easy to focus on what's missing, what we don't have, what hasn't worked out, what still needs to change. But fasting has a way of resetting our minds. It reminds us of the good that is already present, the strength we already have, and the possibilities that are waiting just around the corner. Gratitude begins to replace frustration, and faith begins to replace fear. There are seasons in life when we feel like we are waiting for a dream to come to pass, waiting for an answer, waiting for a breakthrough. Fasting teaches us that waiting is not wasted time. It is a season of preparation. Just as a farmer prepares the soil before planting a seed, fasting prepares us to receive what is meant for us. It strengthens our patience, deepens our trust, and sharpens our vision so that when the blessing arrives, we are ready to embrace it. Fasting also teaches us that blessings are not just meant to flow to us, but through us. When we fast, we become more aware of the needs of others. Our hearts open with compassion. We begin to see ways we can give, ways we can serve, ways we can be a blessing to those around us. And the more we give, the more we receive. It's a cycle of abundance. The more we pour out, the more life pours back into us. Sometimes the blessings that come through fasting are not what we expected. We may begin fasting with one goal in mind, but in the process, we discover something even greater. We gain wisdom that changes the course of our lives. We develop discipline that leads to lasting success. We experience peace that no external circumstances can shake. These are the kinds of blessings that are worth far more than anything we could have imagined. Fasting is not about deprivation. It is about preparation. It is about positioning ourselves to receive the very best that life has to offer. It is a reminder that there is more waiting for us, not just in material things, but in joy, in purpose, in fulfillment. And when we fast with faith and expectation, we step into a flow of blessing that goes beyond what we could ask for or think. The power of fasting is not just in what we let go of, but in what we make room for. It is a doorway to greater things, a pathway to transformation, and a key to unlocking blessings that have been waiting for us all along. When we choose to fast, we choose to believe that the best is yet to come. And with that belief, we walk forward with confidence, knowing that abundance is on its way. Fasting is more than just a physical practice. It is a powerful tool for transformation, discipline, and breakthrough. It strengthens the mind, purifies the soul, and realigns us with a greater purpose. It is in the moments of sacrifice that we gain the most, not just in clarity and wisdom, but in strength, resilience, and faith. Through fasting, we learn that we are not controlled by our cravings or external circumstances. We develop the discipline to push past temporary discomfort for lasting rewards. We cleanse not just our bodies, but our thoughts, emotions, and spirit, making space for renewal. And as we align ourselves with this process, we position ourselves to receive blessings beyond what we can imagine. Fasting is not about what we lose, but about what we gain: peace, focus, and a deeper connection to our true purpose. It teaches us patience in the waiting and strength in the struggle. It reminds us that breakthrough is not just about working harder, but about preparing ourselves for the abundance that is already on its way. So, as you walk this journey, remember that fasting is not a burden, it is a gift. It is an opportunity to reset, refocus, and step into a greater version of yourself. And when you embrace it with faith and expectation, you will see doors open, obstacles move, and blessings flow into your life in ways you never thought possible. The best is yet to come. Thanks for watching.